What's up, everybody? This is my first video, and this particular video is going to be about a red table talk conversation that Jada Pinkett Smith and her mother and daughter had with the Sex and the City star Kristin Davis, who adopted black children. And they have a conversation about should white people be allowed to adopt black kids. And, you know, that's a kind of sensitive subject, and it's kind of like, it's strange. Like, I want you to remember that this woman is an actress, the Christian lady, and they can cry, and they whole job is to basically just lie. And so you have to take what she says. I think she makes some valid points, but also always keep in mind that this woman is an actress, because these celebrities who adopt these black kids, it's weird. Even like how they dress them and the environment that they grow in, these kids tend to be not be able to identify themselves as black, and they oftentimes work against the black community because they was raised by a white family. And so we're gonna throughout the video, once in a while, I might be pausing it to make a point, and then we just jump right back into it. So let's get it done. Okay. All right. You guys can see that. Let's go.
On this red table talk, sometimes we see white people who are adopting black children as trying to be white saviors. Yeah. And I get why there's not trust. Why would your community trust my community with its babies? We're breaking down a controversial topic. Should white people adopt black children? I don't know how every person of color has gotten through this. I don't understand. Yeah. Best known for her role as Charlotte on Sex and the City, Kristin Davis is a single mom raising 2 adoptive black children.
So this is going to be interesting today, because I have to admit that, I have certain feelings about this whole interracial adoption, because I think it's really, really hard raising black children today.
Yeah, because it's so sensitive.
It is.
But I think we also have a lot of misunderstandings about it. But I'm so glad that Kristin is here with us today to just
share about it.
Yeah, to just clean up some of the misunderstandings that we have, and just to educate us about the process and what her experiences have been.
Yes, because I do know love is not enough.
But here's the one thing I do know. We know this in our own family, right? It's not that black families don't adopt, because we do adopt. It's that we don't go through the legal system. We've had family members that have had to raise grandchildren, 5 at a time.
Right.
I've taken on kids. I could have taken on more.
Right. And people that you brought into your home and raised, but you haven't legally adopted.
But that's what people of color do.
Yeah.
We take other people's kids and raise them within our extended families,
without going through the system.
And that's a great point, because I know lots of women who took in kids from their relatives who wasn't able to take care of them, and they never went through the system to do it. Only time black people go through the system to adopt kids is if they don't have the financial means to take care of that child by themselves. But for the most part, black people, we tend to stay away from the government system when it comes to adopting children, especially those within our own family, because it's just not necessary. It's just something that we tend to do. So when they say black people aren't adopting kids, or black people not adopting their own black children, that's totally not true. We just don't do it through the system. And white people tend to go through the system to do it.
Hello, RTT family. Today we are talking about interracial adoption, specifically white families that adopt black children. And we have a very special guest here today, Kristin Davis. And she is going to talk to us about her journey with adopting her 2 beautiful black children. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this has been a topic I'm really a topic that I've had a lot of questions about and over the
It's kind of a
years.
sore spot for me.
Yeah, for Gammy. And I understand it's a hot button. It's something that people have really strong feelings about. And obviously I have strong feelings because I love my children so much and they've been such a gift to me. But because my children are African American, I feel like it is my duty and my job to do as much research, as much work, build as many bridges as possible because you are their community. Right. And that is key and that is so important. Right. So I work at that every day, trying to figure out how I can make sure they have access to the Black community, that they're part of it, that they're not separated from it, because we don't want to make it so that they don't fit into the Black community and they don't fit into the white community. Exactly. Sometimes we see white people who are adopting Black children as trying to be white saviors, and I do feel like the white savior thing is a problem and it's real. So I don't want to say, that that's just a myth. Right. It's not really what I come across so much, I do think too, it's tough because are you saying then, okay, well, don't try to do anything good because your skin is white? Because that's not gonna work out. We can't ever succeed without the Black community embracing our children. You don't have to embrace me. It's okay. I'll be okay. My feelings will be okay. You know what I mean? Right. But I want my children to be able, to come to you. And I don't want them to be excluded just because I'm their mother. I mean, definitely.
And a point that I want to make is the strangeness of wealthy, attractive white women not even having children of their own. And that's strange. And I don't know, it just seems like the white population, statistically is on a decline. They're having more deaths than they are births. And so I don't know what that mentality is. One thing, Black people, we much rather have our own children than to adopt others, unless it's medically not possible for us to do it. But for white people, for white women, they tend to not even want to go through the entire mother process of being pregnant and giving birth. They would rather just adopt. And then when they do adopt, they want to adopt someone from an entirely different race. That's kind of strange.
That we have work in that area. We just have, and it's just a historical thing. It's just, and so. Look, I get why there's not trust. Yeah. I get it. I get it deep in my bones why there's not trust. And why would your community trust my community with its babies? Right. I 100% understand that. I wouldn't either. Right.
Okay. What she said she understands why Black people tend to be skeptical when white people adopt Black children. And she understands and she totally gets it. Like she feels the same way. If a Black family adopted a white kid, she'll feel kind of some type of way about that. And so now at least she admits she knows where we're coming from, but that doesn't stop them from doing it. It just makes them want to do it even more. And then you think Black people got a problem with white people raising our kids? Imagine if you walking down the street with a white kid. You know how many times you get the police called on you thinking that you kidnapped that damn child?
What made you decide to adopt? Well, I'd already thought about it, and I don't know why, and I don't know how, but it has seemed like an option for me for a very long time. I had friends who'd adopted or wanted to adopt, and so I was kind of hearing about it, learning about it, and realizing that it is quite complex, right? And as it happens with many of us, the time was ticking, and I wasn't really thinking about it. Right. I was working, and so when it started, I'd say 38. Got it. Which is, a little late, but I really was like, wow, I feel deeply that I need to be a mother. I feel like I will feel incomplete if I don't have that experience. Right. One of my big issues was, could I do it by myself? Because once I realized that I wasn't in a relationship that was necessarily...
She wanted the experience of being a mother, but she wouldn't take the proper steps to have one of her own. It's not the same thing to adopt a child and then you just happen to be a mother. There's no physical or emotional or chemical bond that you have with that child for a very long time. And so why in the world would she rather not just have her own? It's not like it's a shortage of white men willing to sleep with her or probably marry her. She just chooses not to at 38 years old. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. that type of relationship, or the relationship couldn't take that, I thought, gosh, I'm really scared.
Right.
But I still felt like there was a child out there that I needed to find that was my child.
Yeah.
I can't explain it.
I get it.
It was a spiritual kind of thing. And I think that what happens is by the time you get on the road to adoption, it is a long road. It's not an easy road.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest misconception is that there's some kind of like, it's like a black child.
Right. Yeah.
Please, I just like that handbag over there.
Right.
You know, it's very, very, very far from that in terms of the process, in terms of what you go through for that to happen.
Right. So this is an example of a questionnaire that adopting parents have to answer to actually qualify to adopt. And it's pretty in-depth. It's in-depth. I think people assume that, you choose a child, like when I look at this document and, the kinds of questions that it asks you, like, would you be willing to...
Like, I don't think it's hard and far-fetched to believe that when white celebrities want to adopt black children, that it's that difficult for them to do it. I think they just pretty much like, you're rich, you're white, and this poor black child needs somebody who better than you, and you're white. I honestly don't think the process of adopting black children, either here in America or from overseas, is difficult for white people. Imagine how difficult it would be if a black family wanted to adopt a white kid. Now, I can imagine that being difficult, rightfully so, because culturally, the psychological effect that they can have on a child can be either like normal, or it can be psychologically damaging, because they growing up around people who have nothing in common with them, not even physically, but also culturally. Now, see, I wanted to pause this also so you guys can get a chance to read some of these questionnaires, check-offs that they ask some adopted families when they want to adopt children. I'm not going to pause it for too long, because you can pause the video yourself and just, read over it. So I'm just going to continue.
Adopt a child that might have significant physical disabilities or mild mental health, or a child who might have had a parent that was addicted to cocaine. And like, it really is like a self-exploration, like of who you are. Because it's deep, because you think, hey, listen, I'll love any child, right? And then it has here all the different ethnicities, everything.
That's right. That's right.
So when
I'm going to go back a little bit, because I want to see that list, and I want you guys to be able to pause it, have time to pause it and see it too.
Who you are, because it's deep, because you think,
I want to see it for
hey,
myself.
listen, I'll love any child, right? And then it has here all the different ethnicities.
Okay. Let's see. Birth parents are African American, Asian, all that stuff. Birth parents are from a combination of racial background. But let's say, are you open to raising a child whose race ethnicity is a combination of 3 or more races, ethnicities, all different from your own? All right, I'm gonna continue, guys.
Everything.
That's right. That's right.
So when you decided to adopt, did you say you wanted to adopt African American children, or did you just say, I'll take any child that needs love?
I was a little thrown off by that paper, right? I felt like if you don't mark those boxes, like why would I exclude?
Right.
Like if the right child is going to come to me, why would I say no to this or no to that or no to this? Like it just seemed strange to me. It seemed racist.
Right. Okay.
To be saying no, 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 no.
Got it.
Do you know?
Okay.
That's what it seemed to me at the time.
Got it. That's my thing. That's kind of my fear. I feel like people are so anxious and so desperate wanting a child, that they'll say anything, and they don't really understand, everything that would be involved, Like, let me just say, oh yeah, I'll take that. But
I of course understand what you're saying. It's a long and involved road, and I think even just to get on that road, you've already done a lot of soul searching, and then when they do show you that paper, you are like, whoa,
Did you have to go through like an interview process?
You have a home study process. So a social worker comes to your house and interviews you at length for days and days and days.
Yeah.
And I was super nervous about that. The first time I was like cleaning and scrubbing and, you know, you're just very scared. Like they're going to judge you on the cleanliness of your house, which is not what they're judging, of course. But they want to ask you, have you thought about if you adopt an African-American child, how will you include that child's culture in your lives? What will you do?
Right.
And you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta think about this. And then they'll say, well, what if it was an Asian child? What would you do? Because I hadn't marked, you know, I had not, you know, I was like, the child is going to come to me that I am supposed to have. So the social workers do your home study, which is about like, do you own any dangerous animals?
Yeah.
She make it seem like the child's gonna come to me, whichever one. She knows she wanted a black child. I believe based on race, you get increase in money by adopting black children or any child that's not your race, because they see that as an extra challenge that they have to compensate you for. So it's no coincidence that these black women are adopting black children just because they love black people, or they feel like they even really much care about, you know, helping out black society. They get paid extra for raising a child as totally different from their race as you can get. And you don't get more different from Caucasian than African American.
Blah, blah, blah. All of those things. You have a pool, you know, and then also asking you a lot of questions, asking you all about your parents, how you were raised, making you sign something that you will never use physical punishment.
Wow.
Yeah, you saw her face. She like, I can never whoop their ass. Or she's looking at Jada like, see, I can't beat them even if I want to. So they're not being physically abused in public.
Yes. Maybe they might say to you, we don't think that you're suited to be adopting a black child. Right. They might say that. You know, a good lawyer would, I think. Or maybe your social worker might write down on the paper, this person has no plans to include the culture. I don't think she should adopt a black child or a Latino child. Right. That could happen for sure. So then your agency says, okay, now you need to do your education piece. You need X hours. I feel like it's 60 or 50, and you get a list of all these online courses that you can take.
Okay. So when you signed up for the course to raise an African American child, what did that course look like? Like, what was some of the information the course gave you?
There were a lot of courses. One was just about hair.
Really?
Yes, because people panic. You know what I'm saying?
Course about so wait till you learn.
I lessons. Okay, I was like,
it's a big thing.
I know it's a big thing, and I'm still.
You saw how Jada mom looked at her on the slide like, bitch, stop cooning. Oh, honey. Her mama gave her the little side eye. Go. Mama gave her a real quick side eye. Let me go back so you can catch it.
Lessons. Okay, I was like, it's a big thing. I know it's a big thing, and I'm still learning. Okay. What did you learn in the course? Well, what I learned is that it's a big thing, and it has a whole long cultural history to it, and you absolutely need to learn because it's a bonding situation, and you can't just like send her off somewhere or him off, you know, to have his hair twisted or whatever. That you need to, just like you would your own child that you gave birth to, learn what is best for their skin and their hair, and that if you don't, you will be judged harshly. Basically, okay. So what happened? How did it come about that
your daughter became the child that was available for adoption?
I was chosen. I say we because I think of me and her being together. Of course, I was chosen by her birth mom. You know, they have choice. Yeah, they have. No, wait a minute. Explain that. Okay. Her birth mother chose you. The birth mothers picked the adoptive parents.
Wow. Okay.
Let me say this before we continue. I also want to acknowledge the birth mothers, who I feel do not get acknowledged enough, because no birth mother does this for like a casual reason. Right. It comes from a tragedy or a situation that is a negative situation, and it is a sacrifice of gargantuan level that they make. I've now met through the course of my process many birth moms and different.
I wonder if the birth moms still have access to visit their children, even though they, adopted by this white lady. I mean, the fact that the mother has the right to say, hey, I prefer my child to be under her care. Can they at all visit their children or see their children? That's what I want to know.
Situations led them to pick from different perspectives. Like some were just worried about safety. And some were just worried about having a really strong father figure because they hadn't had one, or kind of trying to fulfill different elements. It is difficult, but I never ever want to say that people shouldn't adopt.
Yeah.
I just want to say you need to be always digging into what's hard.
Right. How has raising Black children made you more aware of white privilege?
Okay, I want to show you her children. This is a decent one right here. This is the oldest. That's the first one. I think that's a girl too. I hope so. White people be dressing Black kids like they're fucking Halloween every day. And this is the youngest little baby she got. What's that actress name who adopted Black children? And she said the boy, he like 5, told her one day when he was 3 that he wanted to be a girl. And so she dresses him in all girl clothes, even though it's a boy. What is her name? I'll figure it out. I'm finna find it out. I'm finna continue the video though.
This is what I want to say from a white person adopting.
I'm finna get my phone a little.
Absolutely do not fully understand. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. There's no way you could.
Yeah.
Because you could understand that you live in white privilege, and that's a theory, and you could see things. But it's one thing to be watching it, happening to other people. And it's another thing when it's your child.
I'm going to be looking on my phone.
Sleeping through it.
For that actress.
It's a big issue. It's something that I think about every day and every night.
That is very interesting, okay? Because it's when you're looking at situations, specifically racism happening on the outside, but then now you have this child, who is your own. She's your treasure. And now you have to confront prejudices, biases, racism in a whole different way. What have you experienced?
Well, it was horrifying. I'm still living it. It's hard to put into words. I mean, there's been so many things over the years. Gemma's 7 now. Yeah. But the first couple of things that happened when she was a baby and I'd be holding her in my arms, people would say to me, "Won't she be a great basketball player?" Wow.
That's stupid. That's her name, Charlize Theron. That's her name. She be dressing this little boy up like a goddamn girl, and he only like 6, talking about he knew at 3 he wanted to be a girl. So instead of showing him, hey, no, you're a boy, she said, okay, sure, I'll help you demasculinize yourself as a Black child and say you want to be a girl. Right here, this is her picture. Look at him. That's a goddamn boy in a tutu and ballet shoes with pink purse. Come on now. Look at how she got him with the dress and his hair braided. That's child abuse. That's child abuse. And then and she can legally walk around and nobody's the. Imagine if the colors were reversed and there was a Black woman sitting up here with a white boy dressed as a goddamn girl, and they say, oh, he only dressed that way because he chose to, and he felt he was a girl. He's looking for whatever validates him in her eyes, and she only gives him proper validation when he demasculine, not be anything but a black child, a Black boy. She hate that masculine energy. That's why her ass adopted, because she probably batshit crazy and nobody want to sleep with her. That's ridiculous. That's fucking child abuse.
And I would just have to be like,
Right.
This is a baby.
Wow.
How could you say that without just being mortified?
Right.
Mortified. Oh, that was when it began.
Right.
And I would just, I would hold the baby and I'd be trying to be polite, but I'd just be like, this is really deep and bad.
Right. Right.
And how dare they limit my child?
Right.
And
How dare they live in my black child? Who the fuck goes to a black baby girl talking about she'll be a great basketball player? That's stupid. And then she doesn't say her response and checking those people. She just say always talking about how she feels and I just felt so icky. I felt so bad. But what did you say to
how
check
dare
them?
they make that assumption? And how dare they not even know? Like, how could they just say it like that?
Right.
Like, so
I
casual.
promise you, she probably was like, yeah, I know.
People been dealing with this is just crazy.
Right.
Like, that was the beginning of how I still feel, basically.
Got it.
So then I was just like, oh, God, please don't let this be everybody. But, as we know, our country is built on this.
Right.
It is institutionalized.
Right.
And that's what you really come to realize as time goes on. The next really big, super turning point for me was we had been going to this group where Gemma was the only African American, really fully dark black child. And there were swings, right? And you were supposed to wait your turn, right? And so I'd be with Gemma, and Gemma is like the sweetest soul, right? And she'd be waiting, I'd be sitting with her. Time would be passing, these kids would be swinging. This one girl in particular would stop swinging. She would hold the swing. She would call to another white girl across the yard and say, I'm holding the swing for you. Gemma would just sit there so quiet. I can't swear, right?
You can
I'd
swear.
just be like, what the you know what I mean? I'd be like, hello, like, what the my child is sitting here, people. Gemma's sitting here, and she's sitting here so patiently, and she's following the rules so beautifully. Yet she is still being
Following the rules at the park. She's just sitting there. What kind of rule is she talking about? I don't get it.
Daddy, I
excluded, like over and over and over, by this particular group of girls who are white, and it's a problem. So finally,
I wonder if
go
she
into
checked
the
them.
office. I'm just like, steam is coming up my head. I don't understand why you're not stepping in. They said, well, you don't know what those other girls are thinking. And I was like, I don't know, but I don't care. I don't care. What do I care about my child? You don't know what my child is thinking. My child is probably thinking it's because she looks different. Then they
It is
said,
what.
we just see them all the same. We don't see color here.
That's the famous, most popular white lie you ever heard. I had this comedian who said if white people don't see color, then how come they not running red lights? They see color. They just don't want to. They just tell you that they think it's some type of compliment or liberal thing to do to make them seem like they're not racist. But in actuality, that is extremely racist. For you to tell me you don't see me as who I am, you want to just sit up here and gloss over me and put whatever color, fake color, in your mind so it makes you more comfortable. Saying that alone is extremely racist and stupid.
Yeah. That's a classic one.
It's such a classic, and to have it thrown in my face.
Yeah. Because they actually think when people say that they're being liberal.
Yes.
And
That's the
but
way.
actually
It was
it's
such a harsh.
false.
Yeah, it was a very harsh moment of understanding, deep understanding. I don't know how every person of color has gotten through this. I don't understand how you could take this every day.
And her saying that is not like a compliment about the strength of black people. It's almost like the stupidity of black people to constantly go through this for not only centuries, but every single day of your life, and not just lash out and just, stop your oppressor. As a white woman, their culture is built on warfare, domination, and conquering. And so she can't relate to people just allowing themselves to be segregated culturally and socially from society without retaliation. Her culture doesn't know that type of abuse and not doing anything about it. White people are very warlike and territorial. And so the fact that Black people are just overly emotional and not very aggressive in the face of such racism is confusing to her, and rightfully so. I agree. It's confusing to me too why Black people continuously want to be dominated or allow themselves to be dominated.
Mind you, it happens in situations, and it doesn't have to be with a white parent, but just putting Black children in those situations where they're in an all-white environment.
It's not, and that's what what it taught me. That was the thing that it lit a fire under me where I couldn't be relaxed or casual. Right. I will never be Black, no matter how hard I try. I will never be Black.
Right.
That is the truth, and we have to accept it. And therefore, I will never be able to say to Gemma, I understand how you feel because this happened to me.
Exactly.
That's what's painful and hard. It made me on a mission to find a place where she was exposed to everything. It made me on a mission to put her in situations where I was the only white person.
Right.
Or maybe there was no white person. She's with a close friend. She has really close girlfriends, and I have amazing African-American moms who have been, how
they help you? How those African-American moms?
I call them and I ask them stuff. What would you say in this situation?
I can't imagine that she's around any Black people, like a normal Black person. I'm sure she's around coons and stuff, considering her economic status and her class. I don't think she's around real Black women who would confront racist white people when they are verbally attacking or saying something disrespectful to their children. Like a normal mom from the hood or whatever, or from just a regular middle class working mom, is more likely to be honest and tell you the truth and tell you to go screw off than a suburban mom in a rich white neighborhood to tell a white person. That's where a lot of abuse goes on in the upper class for Black people, not even in the hood.
Or what would you do? Or what would you tell your child about this that's happening in the news?
Right.
I just like to hear. Not everyone agrees, of course.
Right.
Everyone handles it differently. But I just need to learn. I just need to learn because I can't trust all of my instincts because I want to protect.
No, I think that's great that you've put together a village of women that can actually be a lifeline for you.
Right. And they are.
It's so important.
So I found a really fantastic, inclusive school. So many cultures, actual Black kids.
Right.
You have to look hard in LA
to
find.
Yeah.
And you also
Very
need to
difficult.
find Black teachers.
Right. That is so important.
Right?
What are some of the questions that Gemma has asked you? Just looking at you and knowing that there's a huge difference in how you look and how she looks.
Discussed from the get-go. There were times when she was 4 or 5, and we'd go into a place and people would look and stare. And I don't know if she knows why they're staring or what she might think about why they're staring. So that was when I started to try to enter into
conversation.
You're Black and I'm white. And look, from the beginning, she'd be like, Mommy, my skin is dark. My skin is like chocolate. And your skin is like vanilla. And I'd be like, yes, it is. And this is how people are born. And melanin makes your skin dark. But also, your past is that you have African-American ancestors and they've been through so much.
Right.
I try to make it.
You see how awkward that is to have even say that crap to your young child? Yes, my skin is like vanilla and yours is like chocolate, and your history is that you have African Americans who have been through so much. Oh my God, she's lying for one. And I told you to remember that this woman is an actress. Her job is to lie. She lies more than politicians because her job is to confuse you into thinking whatever character she's playing is an actual character. That's what makes some actors good. It's the confusion of the human mind to thinking something that isn't real is real.
The positive, anytime. This one, she's like 2. You don't even start baby. Age appropriate, right? But also at the same time, I have to prepare Gemma that the world is not fair and there are racists in the world. And it's just gut-wrenching to have to do that.
And know that you also adopted your son, who's also African-American. How did that happen?
Well, that happened when Gemma was 5. She started asking for a brother. She said, Mommy, I would really love a Black little brother. And I was like, I totally understand, baby. I said,
What? only time a black child would request specifically another black sibling is when they don't have any other black kids in their environment. And for her daughter to be probably at this time 6 and talking and saying specifically, I want another black good brother. And she said, yes, I totally understand why. It wasn't that daughter who convinced the mother to get another child, adopt another child, or to make it a boy, or to make sure he was black, because she want her set like a pet. You always want your hamster to not be the only hamster, because that's, social deprivation. So whenever you get your pet, as I'm sure many of these white people treat these black kids as pets, you want your pet to have a companion. You want your puppy to have a companion. You want your frog and your bird to have a companion, so they can speak a certain language that you may not understand. But hey, I have 2 pets now instead of 1, and now they can play with each other.
You know what? I'll go talk to the people who helped me adopt you, and I'm going to see. I don't know the state of things out there. I just told them that our hearts were open and our home was open, and if a baby needs us, we're here. And so then one day there he was. And I tell you, my daughter didn't bat an eye. She was like, there he is.
Wow.
So beautiful. And then she held him, and then she fed him. And I mean, she's just the best big sister.
Now, see, for me,
Yeah.
I
Let me
so
see her
worried.
children again, because I thought she had 2 boys. I mean, I thought the ages were reversed. So the youngest is a boy. Okay, there he is. That's the youngest right there. Let me see some other pictures. You see, I told you how they like to dress black kids up as if they go to a goddamn Halloween party every day. What is that? Let me see this. Okay. It's just so strange and psychologically devastating for black kids to be raised by white people. And it's dangerous and scary. That alone would make a great horror movie.
For you,
Yes.
with trying to raise a black boy in America.
I'm worried too. I mean, listen, every day something new happens.
Yeah.
And I think about it. And I also have friends who have black sons, thank goodness. And I ask them so many questions.
But he's still really young.
I bet she's talking about other white friends she got who got black kids. Because you automatically assume. I also talk to my friends who also have black sons. That doesn't mean she's talking about black people with black kids. Those could be other white people who adopted black kids too.
Right? He's
Yeah,
still only
he's
a
one.
year and a half.
He's one, yeah.
One. So I guess you have time.
I have time, but every night I worry. I mean, I just watch.
But it comes up sooner than you think.
Well, it's you have to be on the field right now. You have to be on the field from the get-go. You know, one of the things that I would ask you, because you raised sons, what did you say to them when they were little?
I was telling Jaden when he was 4, 5, 6 years old, no red, no blue. You're going to know right now. You live in LA. Right. No red, no blue. And I was like, I've had too many incidents being in certain places with friends of mine who had on the wrong color. And we had to teach them early how to deal with being pulled over by the police. He and Willow.
Tell me.
We started talking to our boys that young, 6 years old. And even just being aware of your surroundings, always be vigilant, because things run up when you're quick.
Right.
And as they've gotten older, they've come across real world situations. Jaden's run into situations with the police. So
And
has Willow.
Willow has talked about being stopped by the police and
Being terrified. But just being where I was from, I like the fact that because of how I was raised and just the environments I was in, I was prepared. And I just wanted my kids to be prepared. I just didn't want them to be caught out there.
No.
Yeah. Trust me, it ain't easy. And we
Right.
all do the best we can. And, you know, I just love hearing just your passion and how aware and sensitive.
Yeah.
You know what you know, and you're very open and talking about what you don't know.
I
And
think
you're
that's a
in a
must.
constant
It's a must.
And being
learning.
willing to
Learn.
continue to learn and grow.
Yeah.
And I have to. I don't want to miss something, or I don't want to be under the, you know, crazy white privilege assumption that everything's going to be fine. You know, because
Right.
I can't make it fine. So we have to deal with reality, and we have to prepare them.
Well, you know, I just want to say to you that
A point I want to make is a vast majority of Black kids who are adopted by white people when they get older either tend to be homosexual as a male or a lesbian as a female because of the psychological trauma that takes place within that household. I'm not going to necessarily say that all of them were sexually abused, but a large percentage of Black kids who are adopted by white people are sexually abused, or the Black boys are rewarded for being anything but a normal Black boy because they don't want Black masculinity in that house. It's a threat. So just like Charlize Theron's son, who was 3, talking about he wanted to be a girl, which makes it hard for me to believe, he perpetuates him pretending to be a girl because that's when he gets the most gratification from his mother, when he demasculinizes himself. And so children do things to get your approval. And when she started approving and rewarding him more when he wanted to be a girl, he decided at his young age to say, I get what I want. I make her happier. She makes me happier when I dress like this, when I think like this, and when I say that I'm a girl. And so it's a lot of trauma that these white people are inflicting on Black kids as social and science experiments. That should be outlawed. White people should not be able to adopt Black children, and Black people should be given the ability to adopt Black children easier because it's very complicated even to adopt some of your family members as a Black person.
You know, I at one point had a very difficult time, you know, thinking of white families adopting Black children, and I've gotten an education over the years from many people that I know who have done it, and even sitting here with you today and getting even more of an education. So much that we didn't understand or know.
I definitely didn't understand that process.
Right.
You know,
and you know, for me, one of the things that I had to discover about myself and some of my bias towards it was that I was actually, my attitude towards it was actually perpetrating the very thing that I fight against, which is racism, right?
Yeah, and exclusion.
And exclusion, right?
Yeah.
The idea of thinking that Black children only deserve Black love, you know, and that I really had to open my mind and understand that love is love.
Yeah.
And to say that, yes, it's challenging, but love in itself is challenging.
Right.
It makes me very upset when Black people are the only race of people who are perpetually trying to connect and partner with other races. The white people stick together, the Asians stick together, the Arabs, but Black people are continuously, instead of focusing on ourselves and our race and getting our stuff together, we constantly want to reach out and pull and grab somebody else to hold on to instead of worrying about ourselves. It's a racist world out there. The majority of people out there in the entire planet despise Black people without no cause, just the fact that we're Black. And for us to sit up here and feel like we still need to have open arms for these people is detrimental to our survival, and it has shown that for centuries.
Right.
We as Black parents are challenged loving our Black children, and white parents are challenged loving their white children. Everybody's challenged in just knowing how to love.
Right.
This is an important conversation. I think it will educate people and give people a different perspective. I really, really do. I just commend you. I appreciate you just coming here and talking to us about this. You know, we'll be one of your village, one of your lifelines. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
The final thoughts that I have about this video is I don't trust this white woman. She's just something about her that irks me the wrong way. and about her adopting Black children, because I'm always suspicious and skeptical of people who rather adopt children from a different race than having their own children. That's strange. And that's weird. And I haven't found anything stating that this woman was incapable of having a child on her own. And it's always these white celebrities that sit up here and want to have all these damn Black kids. That's creepy. I'm gonna stop sharing it. But yeah, that's pretty much my final thought on the situation. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. If you think I was, blowing things out of proportion, or if you agree with me, let me know. Drop a like, subscribe. In the future, I'm gonna do a lot of videos. I'm gonna have different types of videos, but the majority of my videos will be similar to this one, to where you see the same thing that I see, and we just watch something together that's going on and that's happening, that's new and fresh. So thanks for spending time with me. I'll see you on the next video.